welcome to the Deep Dive. And today we're going to explore something really cool, how our thoughts shape our experiences. It's like having a superpower, right? And the best part is we're going to break it down so you can really take charge of your thinking and honestly live a happier life.
You know, it's amazing how often we completely miss the power of our own minds. We're always looking for answers outside of ourselves when actually, a lot of the time, the key to feeling better is right here between our ears. You know, it's all about how we see things.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. We've been going through some awesome material for this deep dive, and it's amazing. Like, there's this story about a guy named Tom. He seems like he has it all. Good job, friends, nice place, but he's always struggling, you know? Even little things. A small mistake at work would feel like the end of the world.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because from the outside, his life seemed pretty good, right? But inside, total chaos. He was living in this constant state of worry, and it's something I think a lot of people can relate to. We get so focused on fixing things externally when the real work is internal.
Totally. And then there's this moment, this amazing moment where Tom realizes, and he says it so simply, maybe I'm not broken, maybe I just believe I am. It's like a light bulb going off.
It really is, and it's like it just cuts through all the noise, you know? It's like, yeah, maybe we're not actually messed up. Maybe we just think we are, and if that's the case, well, then we can change it, right?
I love that. And it ties in perfectly with this other point, which is that so often, it's not the problem itself that really gets us, it's how we think about it. There's this quote that just nails it. 99% of the harm is caused in your head by you and your thoughts.
You know, that number always catches people off guard, but when you really think about it, it's true, right? We get so caught up in the event itself, you know, like someone criticizes us or plans fall through, that we don't even notice the cascade of thoughts and feelings that come after, and that's where the real damage is.
It's so true. There's this analogy that really paints a picture of this. Imagine two people standing in the rain right next to each other. One is completely miserable, thinking their whole day is ruined. The other is smiling, saying free shower. Same rain, completely different experiences.
It's a brilliant example, isn't it? It just shows how our mindset, not the event itself, determines how we experience things. It's like we have so much more choice than we think we do.
It's amazing. Okay, so we're starting to see how much our thoughts really matter, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, our minds aren't always the best at telling the truth. You know, they make up stories, often based on things that happened in the past or fears we have.
Oh yeah, definitely. Our brains are amazing, but they're also wired to look for patterns and make predictions. It's like this built-in survival mechanism. But sometimes these shortcuts, they lead us to jump to conclusions, you know, based on not enough info or some bad experience from way back when.
Exactly, and we all do it. I mean, how many times has your boss sent you a message that just says, "We need to talk," and you instantly freak out? You're picturing getting fired, getting yelled at, the worst of the worst.
I mean, who hasn't been there? It happens to all of us. And it's like, we don't even consider that it could be something positive, like a promotion, or even just neutral, like a scheduling thing.
Right. So how do we break free from this? Our sources talk about fact-checking our thoughts. It sounds super basic, but I think it's genius. We need to get critical about what's going on in our own heads.
I couldn't agree more. It's like we often just accept our thoughts as facts, you know, we don't even question them. But fact-checking, it creates this pause. We have to slow down and ask ourselves, okay, is this really true? Is there actual evidence for this? Am I just assuming the worst is going to happen?
Yeah, like get real with yourself. I love those questions. It's like putting your thoughts on trial.
Yeah. And you know, you can even ask yourself things like, okay, what are the odds of this actually happening? Or what would I tell a friend who was having the same thought? Sometimes, even that little bit of distance, it can make a world of difference. It's not just reacting, it's thinking about it.
In this analogy, I love this. Treat your thoughts like emails from strangers. Don't just open them and believe everything they say. Check the sender. Look for evidence first. I think that's especially important these days with all the information overload we're dealing with.
It's such a good analogy, right? It's like, be skeptical. Not every thought that pops into your head is true or helpful, so it's totally okay to question them.
So true. Now, there's another idea that comes up that I find really interesting. It's about the mind as a mirror, not just a window.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. We often think our minds are just showing us what's out there, like a window, right? But the mirror analogy, it suggests that our minds are also reflecting what's inside of us, our own stuff. So if we're constantly having these negative thoughts like, nobody likes me, or I'm not good enough, or something bad is going to happen, it might not be about what's actually happening around us, but more about what's going on inside us.
Right, like we're projecting our own stuff onto the world. It's like how, when you're in a bad mood, everything just seems worse. That's your inner mirror at work.
That's it, exactly. And it's like, if you wear dark sunglasses all day, everything looks darker. It's the same with our mindset. Our thoughts become the filter, and they can totally change how we see everything.
Okay, so if we want to see a brighter world, we kind of got to clean our internal lens.
Right.
Right. So our sources talk about some tools that can help us shift our thinking. Let's get practical. The first one is so simple. Just name the thought. Why is that so powerful?
I know, it sounds almost too easy, but it really works. When you have a negative thought, try just saying it out loud, or even just to yourself, like, okay, there's that thought again telling me I'm going to screw this up. When you do that, you create a little space between you and the thought, so you can actually see it for what it is, just a thought.
So you're stepping back, being the observer, instead of getting swept away by the thought, right?
Yeah, that's it. You're not automatically buying into it. You're just acknowledging it, like, oh, hey there, thought.
I love that.
Yeah.
And the second tool is to challenge the story. What does that look like in real life?
It's all about questioning the narrative your mind has created, Ask yourself, is there another way to see this? Like, if you're thinking, they don't like me, maybe challenge that. Could it be they're just busy or having a rough day? It's about opening up to other possibilities.
Yeah, getting out of that one-track thinking. It's so easy to get stuck in a negative loop.
Oh, for sure.
And the third tool is choose a better response. I like this one because it recognizes that, we can't always control what pops into our heads, but we can control how we react to it.
100%. Look, we're always going to have thoughts, good and bad. Trying to completely block the negative ones, it often just backfires. But what we can do is learn to recognize them, decide if they're true, and then consciously choose a better way to respond.
It's about taking charge, right? Instead of just being a passenger in our own minds.
Exactly. There's that Tony Robbins quote, "The quality of your life is the quality of your thoughts." Choosing a better response, it's how we upgrade the quality of our thinking over time.
And this all ties into the next concept, which is the metaphor of the garden of the mind. I love this one. How does this help us understand changing our thinking?
Oh, it's such a great metaphor. Our minds are like gardens, and our thoughts are the seeds. If we keep focusing on negative stuff, doubt, fear, worry, that's what's going to grow. We're going to have a mental garden full of weeds.
Yeah, those weeds can really choke out anything good that's trying to grow.
Right, exactly. But if we start planting different seeds, calm, courage, clarity, well, that's what we'll cultivate. It takes effort. Just like a real garden, you can't just plant once and expect a masterpiece. You got to tend to it, care for it.
So how do we get started? Our sources give some great tips.
A good starting point is just to become more aware of those negative thought patterns. Write down, maybe 3 negative thoughts you had during the day. It helps to see them, make them real.
Then we got to fact check, like we were talking about before. Put those thoughts on trial. What's the evidence? Are they really true? Or just, worst case scenarios playing out in your head.
Exactly. And then try rewriting them. Take a negative thought and turn it into something more realistic or kind. Like, change, I always mess up, to I made a mistake, but I can learn from it. It's about changing the script in your head to something more helpful and compassionate.
So catch the thought, fact check it,
Yeah.
and then rewrite it. And the key is to do this every day. Right?
Consistency is key. It's like working out. It's those small, regular efforts that make a difference over time. You're literally rewiring your brain.
You're building mental muscle. Now, something else our sources touch on that I think a lot of us struggle with is overthinking. Getting stuck in those mental loops, replaying the past or worrying about the future. What's the takeaway here about overthinking?
You can't solve everything by thinking about it all the time, right? I think we often believe that if we just keep analyzing things, we'll somehow magically feel better or find the perfect solution. But usually, all that does is create more anxiety. The past is done, and the future isn't here yet. It's like spinning your wheels. A lot of effort, but you're not getting anywhere. So true. And there's this great analogy. It's about a man in 2 rooms.
Oh yeah, this is a classic. Picture this, a house with 3 rooms. One room is full of the man's past mistakes and regrets. The other is packed with worries about the future, money problems, health concerns, all that. And in the middle, there's this small, peaceful room called now, the present moment.
But this man never actually stays in the now room.
Yeah, nope. He's constantly running back and forth between the past and the future, battling these memories and anxieties. He's missing out on the only room where life is actually happening.
That's such a great image. It really shows how much we can get caught up in things we can't change or might not even happen.
And it reminds us all we really have is now. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. This moment, right now, is all we've got. Take a breath, look around, and realize, right now, things are usually okay. It's a powerful reminder to ground ourselves in the present moment. There's that great quote from Eckhart Tolle, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. So if the present moment is all we have, why do we so often find ourselves mentally somewhere else?
Well, you know, the present moment can be a little too simple for us sometimes. Our minds, they like problems, they like figuring things out. So the stillness of the present, it can feel a little, I don't know, boring. Like our minds need something to chew on.
So we create problems just to keep our minds busy?
It can feel like that sometimes. We get so used to worrying and thinking that peacefulness actually feels weird.
That's kind of crazy when you think about it. So how do we start to shift that? The sources offer a really beautiful way to look at the present moment. The present is a gift. There's an analogy of a conveyor belt of moments.
Yes. Imagine a conveyor belt, and every moment is a gift passing by, all wrapped up. We can choose to grab each gift, open it, and really experience it. You know, the sights, sounds, feelings of that moment. Or we can just let them pass us by while we're focused on the next one, or maybe one we missed earlier.
I love that. It's a reminder to be present and really appreciate each moment. We don't have to be constantly striving or waiting for what's next. Just be here now.
And you know what's really cool? When you actually show up for the present moment, it changes how you relate to the past and how you shape your future.
Oh, I love that. How does that work? It sounds kind of counterintuitive.
Well, think about it. If you practice forgiveness right now, you can free yourself from something that happened in the past. The event doesn't change, but your relationship to it does. Or if you do something brave today, you know, take a step towards a goal, you're shaping a different future for yourself. Even with past failures, if you apply the lessons you've learned, you give those experiences new meaning.
So the present is where we make those changes, right? That's where we have the power.
Exactly. The sources actually call being present a superpower.
A superpower, that's a bold statement.
It is, but when you think about it, it makes sense. Being present, it allows us to see clearly, to know what really matters. We get more focused, we're less distracted, and we can deal with things more effectively.
So how do we cultivate this superpower of presence?
There are these simple things you can do, like try a 1-minute grounding exercise. Set a timer, close your eyes, and just focus on your breath. Feel the air going in and out, or focus on the sounds around you without judging them, just noticing.
And the idea of mindful pauses throughout the day, what that's all about.
Just create little spaces of awareness. Before you react to something, you know, a stressful email or a tough conversation, just pause, take a breath. It gives you a chance to respond intentionally, not just react out of habit or emotion.
Love it.
There.
So mini grounding exercises and mindful pauses throughout the day. I could definitely try that. And then there's the idea of daily reflection, right?
Exactly. At the end of the day, just take a few minutes to think about where you were present and where your mind wandered. It helps you get to know your own mind better and see where you tend to get off track.
And it's about making those small changes over time.
Absolutely.
Now, I love this thought experiment they use. Imagine you're walking through a beautiful forest, sunlight streaming through the trees, birds singing, but you're totally glued to your phone, worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. What's the point of this?
I think it shows how easy it is to miss out on the good stuff, you know? We can be in a wonderful situation but not even notice because we're not really there. Our bodies are, but our minds are somewhere else. Most of us aren't lacking experiences. It's that we're not fully present for them.
It's a reminder to put the phone down and just be where we are.
For sure. And there's this Denzel Washington quote, "Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship."
What does that have to do with presence?
I think it's saying that the effort it takes to be present, to keep bringing our attention back to now, it's a form of progress. It's not always easy, but it's where we really grow.
So challenge yourself to be more present, even when it's hard. I love that. And the sources offer some really practical tips for this.
Oh yeah, like try writing, "Where am I right now?" on a sticky note and putting it somewhere you'll see it often. Or go for a walk without your phone and really pay attention to your surroundings. Use all your senses. And when you're in a conversation, listen fully without planning what you're going to say next. These little things can make a big difference.
It's about bringing more awareness to our everyday lives, even the small moments.
Yeah, definitely. And the more we practice this, the more peaceful our lives become. Not because problems disappear, but because we're better equipped to handle them.
We face them with more clarity and strength, and that's a superpower. Now, our sources also talk about something that can seem kind of counterintuitive. Sometimes, the answer to a problem isn't more thinking, it's silence.
It's true. We live in a world that's all about doing and thinking and fixing things, but sometimes all that mental noise, it's what's keeping us from the answers we're looking for. Silence allows those answers to come to us.
And there's a story here about a woman named Sarah. She was struggling with a problem she couldn't solve. She tried everything. What finally helped her?
She had been talking to everyone, making lists, the whole works. She was exhausted. And finally, she just gave up. She went for a walk by a lake, no phone, no distractions, just peace and quiet. And it was in that silence that the answer came to her. It wasn't like a bolt of lightning. It was more like this quiet knowing.
It was already there inside her, right?
Yes.
The silence just allowed it to surface.
Exactly. It's like the analogy of the snow globe, When it's all shaken up, everything's cloudy, but when you let it settle, you can see clearly. Our thoughts are like the snow, and silence allows them to settle so we can see what's really there.
So the message is, we don't need all the answers right now. Sometimes what we need is to create enough peace so those answers can reveal themselves.
It's about trusting that the wisdom is there, even if we can't see it at the moment.
And this idea of silence ties in really well with the role of time. There's a quote they share that I find really comforting. Time heals almost everything. Give it time.
It's so true, right? Time is a powerful healer. And when we combine it with silence, it's like we're planting a seed and letting it grow. You can't force a seed to sprout, but you can create the conditions for it, and then you have to trust the process. Patience is key.
Love that. So silence creates the space, and time allows the healing to happen. Now, another concept that's important is acceptance. What does true acceptance mean in this context?
It's not about giving up or saying you have to like the situation. It's about stopping the fight against what already is. It's acknowledging reality, even if it's not what you want. It's like that analogy of being caught in the rain.
Yeah, remind us how that one works.
Imagine you're out in the pouring rain and you don't have an umbrella. You can get mad, yell at the sky, try to push the rain away, but none of that's going to change anything. It's just going to make you more miserable. Or you can accept that it's raining and do what you can. Put on a jacket, find shelter, or just keep walking knowing you might get wet. Acceptance is about recognizing what is and choosing a response that doesn't drain your energy fighting reality.
It's about working with reality, not against it.
Exactly. And it's so important when it comes to dealing with things like anxiety and regret.
How so?
Anxiety about the future won't change with the future. Regret about the past won't change the past. Both of them just take us out of the present moment, which is the only place we can actually do anything. Joe Dispenza said it perfectly. You can't create a new future while you're stuck in your past. Acceptance of the present moment is how we move forward.
So accept what is, even if it's uncomfortable, so we can free up energy to actually create change. That brings us to this idea of letting go.
This is huge. Letting go is about releasing our grip on things that are causing us pain, holding us back, or just not serving us anymore. It's like that image of holding on to a burning rope. We cling to things, even when they're hurting us, because letting go can be scary.
It feels like a loss, right?
Yeah, but sometimes holding on is what's hurting us the most. We gotta ask ourselves, are we really holding on, or is the past or our own fear holding on to us? Letting go, it creates space for new things to come in.
It opens up possibilities.
Exactly.
And our sources give some practical tools for this.
Yeah, things like creating daily silence, even just for a few minutes. Try repeating a phrase to yourself like, I don't have to like it, I just have to accept it for now. Or do something symbolic like write down what you need to let go of and then tear it up or burn it.
It's about taking action, right?
Right. And there's this awesome metaphor they use about carrying stones in a backpack.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
Imagine that every regret, fear, problem you're holding on to is a stone in your backpack. It weighs you down even if you don't realize it. So the idea is to try to take out one stone each day, let go of something that's burdening you. It gets lighter over time.
Through the mental decluttering. I love
Okay.
that. So the overall message here is so beautiful. Acceptance is wisdom, and it's in silence that we hear that wisdom. Give your mind space,
Yeah.
let go of what's weighing you down, and focus on what you can control. It's especially important when life feels chaotic.
It's about shifting from struggling to flowing. accepting what we can't change and finding those moments of stillness inside. It's how we build resilience and handle whatever comes our way.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. It really drives home the point that our thoughts create our reality and we have the power to change them. It's about awareness, questioning, and being present.
You got it?
And in our next deep dive, we'll explore this even further. We'll talk more about acceptance, silence, and letting go.
Yeah, wait.
Until then, practice what we've talked about today. Pay attention to your thoughts, question them, and find those moments of presence. And be kind to yourself. This is a journey, not a race.
And as you go about your day, think about this. What's one stone you're ready to put down today? Notice how it feels to release even a little bit of that weight.
Thank you so much for joining us on the deep dive. Remember to stay present, stay kind, and keep exploring your amazing mind.